Press view? Okay, fine. StreamYard recently switched itself, just so you guys know. Okay. Okay, I shortened it today. I don't feel like playing the whole intro.
Well, welcome in everybody who's joining us, possibly early in the morning. I think literally everywhere. This is the Mac and Cheese / Sounds Gouda / Felipe Hazasechi show. Yeah, so we are almost T-minus what here, coming on 24 hours from free agency. Big day tomorrow. I think as we're all attached to the Packers news, we know that they typically should have taken tomorrow off from work, honestly. But the Packers tend to get their stuff done on the first day, right? I'd be shocked if there was any sort of bigger news on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Last year was like held out a bit, I feel like, because last year was like Keyshawn Nixon to the very end, too.
I guess. Yeah, like big splash, like the big.
Yeah, you're right though.
Splashes. Yeah,
because this year, pretty much this year, last year, yesterday, or tomorrow would be Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney 1 year officially. Yeah, you're right.
Two of the best free agency signings.
Oh, look who it is right away.
Oh, look at Mr. Gorilla.
Thank you, friend.
Felipe, I haven't had a chance to talk with you in quite a while. No pressure. Give me your perfect free agency plan for tomorrow.
So, I think the last time we talked was back in January. I know I did an episode with Mary last month, I think.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's go. So, this free agency class is not a particularly strong one. But there's the strengths of it are, at least to me, are pass rush and corner. So exactly what the Packers need, right? So let's start with corner, which I think is a bigger need than edge and defensive line. There are some names like Paulson Adebo, Asante Samuel Jr., even DJ Reed, but he's a bit older. I think he's 28, turns 29 this year. I'm not sure. So there are some names, and the Packers need guys who are ready to start because Jair Alexander is most likely gone at this point. Eric Stokes is a free agent. And they need depth as well. Corey Ballantyne is a free agent. Robert Rochelle is a free agent. So they need guys. They need bodies, right? And that's the main difference that I think is from the pass rush, because whether people like LVN or not, Rashawn Gary or not, at least there's an investment in the position. Like the Packers paid Rashawn Gary. The Packers spent a first-round pick on LVN. So there's the investment, whether people like them or not. So I think corner is a bigger need, but I also think they're gonna look to add into the pass rush. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Packers are reportedly interested in Dayo Odeyingbo. I'm not sure if that's how to pronounce his name.
That's pretty good. You did a good job. Yeah.
He's 25. He's not an established number one guy yet, but I think the Packers are probably betting on his upside because he's entering his prime now, which makes sense. But I'm not exactly against them targeting him, but I think they need a more ready, a more talented guy, a more established guy to elevate everyone, especially Rashawn Gary. There are some other names as well. Chase Young, who's a bit younger. Oh, never mind. He's actually 6 months older than Odeyingbo. So
yeah.
Now some older guys like Josh Sweat.
Gonna cost a little bit more. Yeah.
There's there's Aziz Ojular, who's 24, which I think they're going to target. He's a bit lighter than what the Packers usually like at edge,
Yeah.
but he's young. He's coming. I think he had an injury in 2024. So I think, in fact, after we're done recording this, I'm going to write about him for Cheesehead TV. I think he's a guy to watch. So I'm excited because, and I was reading about this before we start recording. It's not a strong draft class, but the Packers are lucky that their strengths is right where they have needs. So I think they're in a good position. I think they're probably gonna wait up until the second wave of free agents to then start spending. But now going to Rob's question, because I have talking everything but what I want.
That's okay.
I think they're gonna go with Aziz Ojulari and maybe Dabo Odeyingbo. And at corner, I wanted Paulson Adibo, but he's coming back from injury, so I'm not sure how's that going to affect their plans. I don't think they're going after DJ Reed, who's 28. So we'll see if Asante Samuel Jr. hits free agency, which I think he will because he's only 25.
Yeah.
And should be an interest target. But my preference is for them to address the pass rush because there's more talent at corner in the draft overall, not only the draft.
Mary, do you have a favorite
really.
signing or anything that you would do for the Packers as far as free
Wait 1
agency goes?
second. Rob, did you see who I was waving at?
I know, I saw on the chat.
Okay.
Morning,
So-
Jordan. Is
Yeah, I
everyone
was gonna
doing-
say Jordan is in
Whoa.
the chat though. Hey Jordan.
Look who it is.
I know. So I was talking to Felipe about this actually. It's funny that you said that. I wouldn't mind Rasul Douglas back. He's a free agent this year. I think Halfleet would like him. He was on the Bills. He knows the Packers play calling.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad. Imagine Xavier McKinney and Rasul Douglas. Like those two together. Because I was looking at the depth chart yesterday, and Jair Alexander's not on it, ironically. So maybe we might need like a starting cornerback soon. Like one that's proven. Maybe.
Yeah.
Isn't there a rule that like any team cannot sign a player that they trade for like I want to say 2 seasons at least or 3? I'm not sure because if it's 3, the Packers can't bring him back yet. But I think it's only 2. So if it's 2, they can do it this offseason. I'm not sure. I have to look into it.
Yeah, Felipe, you might be right. Yeah. The whole Rasul Douglas trade on itself is, looking back on that, I don't know if we should have given him up. But Jordan and I have talked about it, and he was banging the drum for Max Crosby. So, Jordan, I know that you're listening.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Max Crosby. And Raiders are making all sorts of signings and moves and that sort of stuff. And I understand we're not talking about the Raiders, but just free agency in general, right? Like it's been an amazing free agency offseason so far leading up to this. I can't ever remember anything quite like this. But Paulson Adibo, we really like, from the Saints. That's somebody that the Packers were targeting initially. Young, he's got ball hawking skills. He's got interceptions. He's graded out pretty good in PFF grades, throughout his tenure. And you could get him at a decent contract too. So I think he could immediately come in and contribute. And then if you want to, like, obviously you'll add, I'd be shocked if they didn't add a corner, right, or 2 in the draft. Like I've been seeing a lot of Jody Barron in mock drafts. And I would die and go to heaven if that happened. I just don't think he's going to fall to 23.
Yeah. And also,
tested himself up.
He plays a similar position as Javon Bullard. So where would he fit, right? Don't get me wrong. I would love for the Packers to get him, but where would be his scheme fit? Because we've seen Bullard playing near the line of scrimmage. We've seen Evan Williams play as the post safety. So where's Barron? Where would he even play? Like boundary?
He would have to, and he's shown that he can do that at Texas. And I've gotten into a lot of heated argument with Texas fans saying, "Well, he can play everywhere," blah 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 blah. But then, like, well, we playing Keyshawn Nixon outside quite a bit too. He doesn't. I mean, he's got the weight. I don't know if he's got the height, right? Like Jotty's not that massive of a guy. I think it was 195, 5'11", 5'10", something like that, right? Like somewhere, I guess, as far as that goes, measurables. And I mean, we do have Jair Alexander out there on the boundary too as well. So I mean, I see what you mean. Yeah, like that would what are we going to be doing with Bullard and as far as that goes? But I don't know. I kind of excited, but you're right. Like I don't know. Hafley would have to get a little creative. You'd have to play him outside quite a bit too, I would think. But
right. Do you guys think wide receivers a need this year in free agency?
Go ahead, Felipe.
Depends on who is available, because I know that DK Metcalf requested a trade. Devontae Adams is a free agent, so even guys like Josh Jacobs and who else said it? Someone else said it. I'm not remembering who was, but people were out there saying that they needed a number one established receiver, which I don't disagree.
Okay.
But I think they're gonna be in play for DK. I don't think Devontae is coming back.
I don't.
Fortunately, I would love to, but I don't believe it. I know the Seahawks are asking for a 1, a third, and maybe a young receiver in return.
Right.
If I'm Brian Gutekunst, I'm absolutely not taking that deal. It's just too much. AJ Brown went for that price, but he was only 24 years old when he was dealt to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So DK will turn, I think, 28 in December.
Yeah.
I did some research because I had to write about it. It's not worth it.
No.
And I don't know if you guys have seen at the discourse that, which young receiver should the Packers put in the package for DK?
Yes.
And there were people saying Dontavian Wicks, and people were absolutely insane to put Wicks on in any deal for not even talent wise, but contract wise. Wicks still has 2 years left on his rookie deal. Dobbs is on his last deal, and he's probably gonna get more than Khalil Shakir did for the Bills.
Yeah.
So, are the Packers? Do they want to pay Romeo Dobbs 18 to 20 million per year? Because I don't think so. He's talented, but injury-wise, not his fault, obviously.
Right.
He doesn't want. He's not choosing to be injured.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 concussions in the span of 1 season is concerning.
Yeah.
So doesn't make any sense. But I think receivers going back to the original question. I think receivers going to be in play, but I'm not sure if the Packers see it as a big need as the most of the fan base does.
Felipe, there's a question for you.
Felipe, what is it? Jordan says, Felipe, what is your take on Deo? Should the Packers sign him? Jordan, we did cover this a little bit, but Felipe, go ahead.
I'll go over it again. No worries. And it's Jordan, so it's okay. So what the Eagle seems a lot like when the Packers had interest in Zadarius Smith back in 2019. Wasn't a full-time starter throughout his rookie contract. Had some upside. Was big, athletic. He kind of paid off when he came to Green Bay. Had a couple of nice seasons. And I know I've said this already on the stream, but he's not a proven guy yet. He absolutely can be a guy, a number one, but he's not that guy yet. And the Packers need those type of edge rushers and pass rushers in general, right? So I think there are better ways for the Packers to spend their money. I know the Eagles, I think, had a 9.5 pass rushing rate in 2024. JJ Nagbari was not far from that. So I don't think he's a difference maker, and the Packers need difference makers. But I'll trust Jeff Hafley if he believes he can bring the most out of the Eagles' prime. I can trust Hafley, but they need a more established guy. I'm not saying like the levels of Miles Garrett, which asked for a trade, but I doubt the Cleveland Browns will trade him. I'll be shocked. Max Crosby is off the table, unfortunately. Uh, so I think that there are better ways for the Packers to improve the pass rush. The Packers can probably bring out the Igbo and then another guy.
Mhm.
Uh, but to answer Jordan's question, I think there are better ways for the Packers to improve the defensive line overall.
Yeah, and like I think Jordan pointed this out on X though too, but his run defense, why is it to me like with his measurables, he's like 6'6", 285 or something. The dude is
Oh, wow.
just an absolute like reminds me of like a bigger like Giannis Antetokounmpo if like he played football and was like that big. Like he has like just that massive of a wingspan. And he just struggles in run defense pretty bad. And to me that feels like an effort thing, right? Because there's no reason that a guy that big on the edge should be able to struggle that bad at run defense,
Right.
in my opinion. But
One real quick, going back to DK Metcalf, I don't think we will do the deal with the first because the draft is at Lambeau. That's what people are forgetting. The draft is at Lambeau. Why would they trade their first round pick knowing that it will be announced somewhere around Lambeau? That just doesn't make sense at all. Knowing
I mean,
it's supposed to be at Green Bay.
I don't think they're gonna deal the
I don't think so either.
pick, but I the draft being, at least in my opinion, the draft being in Lambeau should not be used as a basis for them not to deal the draft pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't think that they're gonna deal the number one selection, but I don't think it should be a base. Oh, they shouldn't trade their first round pick because the draft is in Green Bay.
No,
Like
I know.
if it's landing for a guy like Miles Garrett, for example, which is not gonna happen, but we're playing hypotheticals here.
Yeah.
I'll be more than fine with them spending their first round pick, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. Like any player.
So coming back to that though, like the Wicks conversation, Jordan. Okay, let's just say it's not a first round pick, right? But we're getting DK Metcalf, right? But you got to give up one of two players. It's either Dontavian Wicks or it's Romeo Doubs.
Oh shoot.
Who are you guys choosing? And I feel like I know where Felipe is going on this. I think.
So wait, you lost me for a second. What is the question?
You have to. So it's either you got to give up one, right? But it's either Dontavian Wicks or Romeo Doubs. Who are you giving up?
Oh, Romeo Doubs easily.
Yeah.
And not because
Yeah.
I like Dobbs a lot. I like Dobbs a lot, but talent wise and contract wise, it's a no brainer, at least in my opinion. Because I was also researching this yesterday. Weeks had everyone had drop issues, right, in 2024.
Yeah.
But Weeks actually had a 84 catch score rate, which was tied for fourth in the entire NFL. So the talent is there. He gets open frequently. He just needs to figure out how to catch the football. And the things with Weeks, it's because the things that he's good at translate to the long-term success of wide receiver in the NFL. But drop thing, those things are fixable. So if he fixes that, he's gonna be a problem for whoever he faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to bet on that because I'm not saying he will turn to Devontae Adams or his 2015 Devontae Adams.
Right.
But what if the Packers had given up on Devontae after that 2015 season? Like we will witness the player that he ended up being that helped us a lot. So the Packers will not give up on Dontavian Wicks. Probably the Seahawks asked for Wicks in return, and the Packers just laugh at the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said about the Khalil Shakir deal for the Bills, the Packers, do they want to pay Romeo Doubs 18 to 20 million per year? Right. Have they seen enough? Like, don't get me wrong, Dobbs is gonna get more than Shakir. His numbers outproduce him like significantly. So, do they want to spend that money considering that they're gonna have to pay probably Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, Zach Tom, Rasheed Walker.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to be smart decisions. And Jordan Love is only making 13 million this year, but that number is gonna increase moving on.
Right.
So they have to be smart. So another reason why I think there will be no hesitant to deal Dobbs rather than Dontayvion Brooks.
Yeah. I mean, with the whole Deo thing too, I think they're trying to replicate what they did with Za'Darius, right? Za'Darius was ascending, came up, and then really hit his prime. Those first couple of years, Za'Darius this year was really, really good for the Packers.
Right.
I wouldn't hate it. I don't know if I would love it, type of thing.
Mhm.
I don't think it could hurt. I mean, I'm really curious. Obviously, this year 3 for Lucas Van Ness is really gonna speak volumes. I know he got a little bit worse this year too, but I know they put a ton of stock into him, and he was a raw project as it was anyway. So
Yeah.
liked what I was seeing from Brenton Cox Jr. Right, Rashawn Gary was coming on towards the end of the year, so and got really good with run defense too. So that was something I was pretty hopeful for. But what is Jordan's name?
Josh Myers.
Oh,
Okay.
go ahead, bring it up, Mary.
What are your guys' feelings around Josh Myers, re-signing Josh Myers? Dolman will be a Chicago Bear.
They shouldn't bring him back. I don't think they're gonna bring him back because, like, the Packers could offer him a 1-year deal, like prove it, but he's a starting caliber center, so he's gonna get multi-year deals in free agency.
Mhm.
And I don't think the Packers would be willing to offer him that. So I think he's gonna walk. And that's also interesting to see how the offensive line is gonna shape up because I think Elton Jenkins, they're either gonna bring a new center in the draft. I don't think they're gonna bring a center in free agency.
Okay.
Or they're gonna move Elton Jenkins to center, then start Morgan and Sean Ryan at guard. But I mean, and I said this before. I was heavily criticized on the Cheesehead TV website for
let it rip, Felipe.
Thinking that they could bring Myers back because I know they love him as a person inside the organization.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm not particularly a fan of bringing him back. I think there are better ways to go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm entirely a fan of moving Jenkins to center because he's a Pro Bowl guard.
What about Monk? Any faith in Monk?
I was going to say, what about Jacob Monk? He did pretty good during center.
Very limited experience.
Yeah, but I think he was inactive for most of the season, so I think that should be telling. That should be telling.
But if I'm right, Monk actually played center in college too.
Yeah,
which helps a lot.
He played.
That was like his number one spot or something.
Yeah, he's got positional versatility. Yeah, he played everywhere, mostly guard and centers, I think. But
well, the thing about Morgan, he's injured. He's coming off an injury too, so that's I don't know. If I want to risk it.
Yeah, and I think they like him better for sure, guard, and then depending. He's got tackle, right? Like he played tackle there, Arizona, left tackle. But
I know the Packers met with I forgot the guy. Oh, Jared Wilson from I think Georgia. During the combine. But here's the thing. Left tackle aside, or maybe not because this is debatable. Center is probably the most important position on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So when you remember Brian Gutekunst's comments about like the sense of urgency to win titles, are they gonna trust a rookie to play center in 2025? Not saying that Jared Wilson can't, but would they want a established guy and then like Elton Jenkins play that position because he's played before, and when he did, he did very well. Like I think he played. I wrote about this. Okay, I got it. He played 2055 snaps overall in 2020 and 2023. I think he played one game against the Lions as a center. And in those 250 plus snaps, he only allowed 2 pressures. No sacks.
Oh, wow.
No sacks. So when he played center, he played pretty well.
Yeah.
So there's something there, but I just don't think it's worth him moving. Like, we know Elton Jenkins is a Pro Bowl guard, so why move him? You know?
Yeah.
I'm not exactly against them moving him to center, but I would rather him stick at guard. But we have to see what is the plan, because like they're probably gonna need they're gonna have a new starting center unless something happens with Myers. He takes a 1-year deal, but I don't see that happening. He's gonna probably get 2-3 years in a new deal somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we have to see. Jordan mentioned Drew Dalton, right?
Yes.
I think I remember looking him up on PFF. I'm not remembering right now, because I think he's a decent run blocker.
That's where he excels at. Yeah.
As a pass blocker, he's not that good. He's more like Myers level.
Yep.
We need a pass blocker. We need a pass blocker. So I think they're probably going, if they're going to target a new center, it's going to be in the draft. But you just don't see many of those like elite guys, or even above average guys, hit the market, because NFL teams usually tend to value very much the trenches. And after the Super Bowl, like what happened on both sides of the ball to the Chiefs and the Eagles, I think we're gonna see some teams trying to replicate what the Eagles did, and then there's the effect on how people will build their offensive line.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna let those guys walk. I know the Chiefs traded Joe Tooney to the Bears.
Bears.
Our quarterback got destroyed in the Super Bowl. Let's trade our best offensive lineman. Okay, that's Creed Humphrey, but
I know. I was confused on that.
Like that didn't make sense. But you just don't see many of those good guys up front hit the market. So the Packers, if they get a new center, it's gonna probably be via drafts.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Wilson's probably a pretty good day 2 pick, at some point. And I was watching some tape on him. He does, Gutekunst too, right? Like, historically loves his Georgia Bulldogs as well. So that one just makes all the sense in the world. Zabel. I love Gray Zabel, man. He might be, last year was Graham Barton for me. He ended up going a pick after that to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I kind of down here, mediocre, but Gray Zabel might be my draft crush. He's just guard, center, showed out at the Senior Bowl, positional versatility. I think you could plug him in right away. And it'd be such a Packery type of thing to be like 23, like, we need defensive tackle, we need a corner, we need this. Let's go out and get a Gray Zabel.
I think offensive line is not out of play in round 1, because you have both Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker being free agents next year.
You got to resign Zach Tom, right? That's coming.
No, they're going to resign him. But as of now, they're both slated to hit free agency, right? So they need to have. I think Zabel's going to play guard. I know he's listed as tackle. But they need a contingency plan in case something happens with contract negotiations. I know they drafted Jordan Morgan to play tackle. Like that was the original plan. But they need bodies. Like Elton Jenkins is not getting any younger. Who knows what's going to happen at center? Who knows what's going to happen with Sean Ryan, who's also a free agent next year.
Oh, yeah.
So they need, pretty much like the CB room, they need bodies. So I don't think offensive line is completely out of play. If anything, should be in play. But it's not the Packers' MO, because they drafted offensive line in the first round only 3 times since 1998.
Yeah. Morgan being
they,
one of those, right?
they did in nine. I'm not sure if it was 99 or 98 itself, and then 2010 and 2011 with Brian Bulagan and Derek Sherrill.
Right.
Oh wait, no, I think I'm mistaken because they did they drafted Jordan Morgan as well.
Yeah.
So okay, it was Brian Bulagan, Derek Sherrill, and then Jordan Morgan. Nothing happened in 98. I think they did in 97. That's why I got confused for a second. So should be in play. I like Zabel. He screams Packer.
He does.
Versatility, can play everywhere. A mauler in the run game. So we'll see. But I don't think the Packers will draft a guy in round 1 to play center.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, I think that comes to Jordan's point. Jordan says, do the Packers take an offensive tackle prospect in the draft before a center, or who are the best candidates for that?
Oh yeah, I think they do. And I'm trying to remember who did this mock draft. Someone, it wasn't the first round, but they had I think Josh Simmons.
Okay.
From Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah.
Yep.
They had Josh Simmons going round 2 to the Packers. There's a tackle from Arizona again this year. I forgot his name. It's not Donovan Jackson. Donovan Jackson's from Ohio State, I think. There's a tackle. Oh my God, who's the guy's name?
From Arizona?
It's a tackle from Arizona, just like Jordan Morgan was last year. I forgot the guy's name. He has a difficult name to spell. From Missouri, I think. But he's gonna probably go top 10.
Oh, Mabu?
Yeah, but he's not getting to 23, I think. I'll be shocked if he did.
Mabu. Yeah, probably.
Calvin Banks Jr. is probably going before 23 as well. Same for Will Campbell, although he didn't test exactly well his measurements, I think. In my mock, I got Zabel. I got Zabel at 27. I traded down with Baltimore. I wanted to trade even further down, but there were 3 tackles available that I felt comfortable selecting, one being Zabel. But I didn't want to trade with the Chiefs, who also offered to trade up with me, because I didn't want all 3 tackles being gone by pick 31. So I traded down and got Zabel at 27, which I think is realistic. But yeah, I think like Jordan's talking about candidates, I think Zabel is a candidate. Josh Simmons is probably a candidate. I have to remember some other names. Like I know I mentioned Campbell and Banks, but I don't think they're gonna be there. I have to remember some other guys. But at the top of my head, those come to mind.
Okay.
Yeah, the only ones I can really see them, I mean, I don't know. There's some good ones later on. Emory Jones Jr., I think they met with. Wyatt, I think he's a tackle / guard from West Virginia, who has surprisingly really good PFF grades too as well. So I guess I would be shocked if they end up doing that in the first round.
Okay.
It's really, I mean, if I were to like put my stamp on it and be like, for sure, this is who they're going to take, I think this might be a DT year or another cornerback here.
And you know, even Jordan Love said, I think he was asked by Kay Adams like 2 days before the Super Bowl, and he said himself, "Knowing the Green Bay Packers, I think we're gonna go defense." So that should be kind of telling. If your franchise quarterback saying that, who am I to disagree, right?
I will never throw a wide receiver in there until I see it.
Yeah, me too.
Ever.
Me too.
I'm just never going to be fooled by that again. And then when it does, then okay, then we have one outlier year out of how many years, right? I mean, I don't know. Like my favorite, and just talking a little bit of draft here, but like Derek Harmon Jr. And even his combine just showed it too. But the big defensive tackle from Oregon is just a mammoth. He's got positional versatility too. He can play 3-tech. He can play all 4. Like I just think that he's a beast, and he tested really well. And I think he was one of the only top defensive tackles to go in the combine and test really well. I'd absolutely be ecstatic we got him. I'm still a big believer in Trey Amos, the cornerback from Ole Miss. I know some people have said he's got like Eric Stokes comps. I don't really see that in his movements to me, but really love him. I don't know. Those are the two ones that Zabel obviously would be a great one too, and like Felipe for you drafting back and getting Zabel, that's pretty good.
All right.
What does Jordan say? I like Logan Brown from Kansas in the 3rd or 4th for the Packers.
Oh, he's a Packer type.
He's an offensive tackle. Yeah.
Senior Bowl dude. He's a Packers guy.
Okay. Yeah, by these measurables, yeah.
I like him.
I'm looking at.
I haven't done much research on him, but I'll get to it eventually. But I have heard of him. Seems like a Packers fit.
Well, yeah, just looking at Logan Brown, 6'6", 315, 82.5 PFF grade from last year, and that's 23rd out of 643 tackles.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
His run block grade is elite. I mean, yeah, Jordan's good on his draft prospects too as well. I mean, we're usually pretty in line, but his zone blocking, his gap for pass blocking is not as good. His gap grade, and then his true passing block stats is around 75. But yeah, elite. Jordan, 0 sacks and 0 hits.
Whoa.
He hasn't ever given up a sack.
How many snaps did he play?
Oh, let me look here. 618 from last year, 325 run blocks snaps, 293 pass block snaps.
Wow.
Looks like 2023 he might have gotten hurt. I think that's what this alludes to because he only has 9 offensive snaps. 9 of those
were. Then yes.
Yes. But then 2022, probably when he was a freshman, So last year, 11 games played. 2023, 1 game played. So yes, he was injured. And then 2022, 5 games played. And that's probably when he came in as a freshman. But 209 offensive snaps, 123 run block snaps, 84 pass block snaps, and only 2 hits and 2 hurries. So then from this moving on to 2 years up, 2024, 0 sacks, 0 hits, and only 6 hurries.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah, that's a Packer 4th rounder right there. So
yeah, 3rd or 4th. Yeah. He is 27 though. I looked that up. So he is kind of older for the Packers too.
Is he 27?
Yep.
What?
According to Google, yes, he is.
That is impossible. I'm gonna look that up.
Unless if it's wrong, because that would not surprise me.
What is his college?
Kansas. Yeah, that would be incredibly old. I'd be.
Wait, that's NHL. Never mind. That would make sense.
Okay. Scared me.
Okay.
There's no way.
There's a hockey player also named with the same name though.
Yeah.
It's the confusing part.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm looking it up again. Okay, so you're right, Rob. He's a redshirt junior. I'm seeing.
Yeah.
He played for Wisconsin from 2019 to 2022.
Oh.
And then Kansas in 2023 and 2024.
Okay, I got you. So how old is he? He's got to be older.
I'm trying to figure this out, but I can't find it. I'm looking everywhere.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, it might be a Mike Green situation. Jordan and I cannot find how old that guy is either.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes
it's because ESPN doesn't have an age either.
Yeah.
He is from Michigan, though. Grand Rapids, Michigan. It says he's from ESPN.
Nice. That's where my mom's from.
There you go.
Felipe, what are your thoughts? I think there's some other Packers podcasts on here that was talking about a possible trade, I think, for Darnell Mooney. That would bring some immediate speed to that. I think that might be Sir Andy Herman from Packaday Podcast.
Wow.
I have not seen this report at all.
I think it was just on his podcast. But
I mean,
would bring
really,
speed.
You kind of caught me off guard right now, but I think if they're gonna, why would they do that? Like, if they're gonna bring in Darnell Mooney, just trust their current guys. Like, what Darnell Mooney is gonna give you that you currently doesn't have with your wide receiver room. Like, if you're gonna trade for someone, trade for a big name instead. Like, trade for a number one guy to bring the best out of everyone. I have nothing against Darnell Mooney, like, personally, but I just don't see the reasoning behind trading for him. Like, let's get DK for a second and Dobbs instead. If that's the case.
Yeah.
Makes much more sense. Like, wow, you kind of. I'm sorry, you caught me off guard with this report.
That's what I want. That's what I
had no idea. I had no idea this was a thing.
Yeah, I propose. I mean, I get it. You for a later draft pick, and it brings complete speed. He wouldn't help you improve at all in the run blocking, right? But I think last year there were some great stats he's pointed out. Darnell Mooney pretty darn good at catching the ball, spreading out, and I think his yards per catch were like out of this world, right? So I get it, but I don't know. Like, you know exactly what's going to be happening when he's on the field, but it does give Jordan Love some speed for that offense. But yeah, I don't think I would go ahead and do it, and I don't think.
Right.
I mean, I see the pros and the cons for both and against it, but.
And I mean, if you're targeting someone that might be under the radar name, and I know he had concussion.
No one from the Kansas City Chiefs, please.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I know he had concussion issues in more than once, so that's kind of concerning. But if I'm the Packers and I do my homework and I feel good about it, I at least inquire about Chris Olave from the Saints.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I'm not gonna be a hypocrite because I talk about Dobbs concussions.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be extra careful when inquiring about him. Like, I'll do my homework.
Mm-hmm.
But Olave is a young option, which I think is talented as hell. And the Saints are total rebuild mode. Like, they're in salary cap hell. So I'm at least inquiring, but I want to be extra sure that about his concussion issues. But I think the talent is there.
Okay. Yeah.
I will be right back. Hold on, guys.
Okay.
So let's keep the show rolling, Mary.
Okay.
Who do you think they're gonna bring at CB? I know you talk about Rasul Douglas.
I couldn't really find anyone else that we would bring in due to age-wise. I was trying to keep in the Packers thresholds, and there's really no one good. Like, there's obviously the Eric Stokes, but why would we re-sign him?
Yeah, and to me, and I mentioned his name. If Boston Adibo wasn't coming back from injury, which I think is gonna affect his market, I would sign him in a heartbeat. He's 25, 26, can tackle. He actually had a pick in his first career game, which was against the Packers in Jacksonville back in 2021.
Okay.
I like him a lot, but he had I'm not sure what his injury was, but he missed some time. So if he wasn't coming back from that injury, I would sign him in a heartbeat. But I think the Packers will consider him at least. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know Rasul Russell is a free agent. I think he's 30 now at least.
He
30.
is. Yep.
So we'll have to see what happens. But he's familiar with the playbook, the culture, with the fans. So there's always interesting. I wonder what would happen if they were to bring back Devontae Adams and Russell Wilson in the same free agent.
Insert the P Diddy song. I'm coming home. All right, I won't sing anymore. That was the first and last time it'll ever happen.
I was gonna say, don't get this channel copyrighted now. Come on now.
Felipe, talk me out of wanting Trey Hendrickson.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna start by talking you even more about trading for him. So
Yes.
So in the last 2 seasons, he had 35 sacks. Rashan
Okay.
Gary has 39 career sacks. Now, he's 30, 31, I'm not sure.
Okay.
He's at least 30. Of that I'm sure. He's going to be expensive.
Yes. And he's going to want a 4-year deal, right?
Hear me, between him and Odeyingbo, I'd rather sign Odeyingbo. Because I would rather sign a younger guy. I know I'm going to sound a hell of an hypocrite talking about this because I'm talking about they need an established guy. I just don't think Hendrickson is going to be... I think he's going to be too expensive. Like, they're going to have to trade draft capital for him, then sign him.
You're right. He is 30, by the way. Yep.
They're going to have to sign him to a new deal. And who knows if he's going to be healthy. So it's a big gamble. It's a big gamble. I think the Packers need to make gambles this year. But I would rather they sign someone younger, even if it's a guy like Josh Sweat, who's 28.
Yeah.
But I don't think he fits the type of guy the Packers usually sign, or in this case, trade for. Someone put out, I don't remember who it was, but someone put out a list of every duty off-season move, like trading free agents, and most of the guys are like 25, 26, maybe one or two 27, but it's usually it goes for guys that are entering their prime.
Yeah, younger. Yeah.
So Hendrickson does not fit that criteria. So I'm not exactly a big fan of trading for him, but and I know there are reports that the Packers are interested. I'm not sure from who it was.
Yeah.
But if you're going to trade a high capital for any edge rusher, just let's go for Myles Garrett already. Why not? That's the case. I don't think Cleveland will deal him because they're in cap hell as well. And trading him puts them even in a more tough situation. But if they're going to do this for any premium edge rusher, just do it for Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jordan wants us to mention Harold Landry as a fit.
Have we discussed Harold Landry as a fit? No, we have not yet.
I think he had some injury issues as well, not as long term.
Okay.
I want to say he's 29. I don't think he's 30 yet, but he's close. I mean, he's a guy to consider, but is he going to bring the best out of everyone in the room? Like, and I was talking the same thing about wide receiver. The Packers need guys in those positions that are game changers. Game changers. Is Landry a game changer? I don't think so. And he's 29 as well, so it's not like a young option that is entering his prime.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a guy like Azeez Ojulari is much more of a fit in this scenario. And like I said, he's a bit lighter. The Packers usually prefer edges like 270 to start. LVN is 272. Gary's 295, I think. So they prefer some heavy guys. Ojulari is like 240 something. Uh, but we'll see. I'm not sure of Landry's measurements.
6'2", 252.
Yeah, so it's a bit undersized for what
Yeah.
the Packers want. And I was having this discussion on the Cheeseheads Brazil WhatsApp chat because people were mocking Mike Green to the Packers, which I like him, but he's undersized as well.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if the Packers would target him unless Jeff Hafley wants to spice up, like change some things. But I think the Packers will potentially stick to their heavy guys on the defensive end side of the ball. But we'll see.
Yeah, and Landry from last year, 42 solo tackles, 9 sacks, 16 assisted, 0 forced fumbled, forced. A 70.5 overall grade. His pass rush grade, not that good at 49.6, but man, his run defense grade, 82.2.
Okay.
So, and a little bit older. To me, I'm like, well, depends on the contract you could get him at, you know. I don't know if I love that fit, right? But that's just me.
Really quick, I don't know if you guys noticed, but he did play with Matt LaFleur back in 2019. He was a Titan since 2018, and that's when LaFleur coached with the Titans a little bit. So
Yeah.
there is
There's a connection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But LaFleur was offensive coordinator. He was never defense. So they might know each other. There's a possibility right there.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys caught that.
No, that's good. That's a good point.
I
How
just-
are you guys feeling about Jordan Love for next year? Give me your glass half full or your glass half empty takes.
Oh no.
Does Mary want to start?
You can go first because I don't know.
So, technically, it's the year to get everything right. No, it's the second season of Hafley as the DC, so it's when things start to click for everyone involved.
Yeah.
It's the third season among this new group on offense, so the chemistry is already there. Like, no excuses, no young team excuse.
Drops don't help his case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no excuses. Like there's no such thing as we are a young team anymore. Like, and on the paper, they're still probably one of the youngest teams, but that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
It's a tough schedule, particularly a home schedule next year.
It's
Much
tough.
tougher.
Yeah.
They host the Ravens, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Lions. So it's rough.
It's tough.
The road schedule is a bit lighter.
Yeah.
But I'm and I told you both about this, but I had plans to go to New York in April. I'm probably going December now, and I'm gonna freeze to death, probably.
Yes,
I'm
you will.
I'm not that used to the cold.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the Packers are playing in New York next year, so I'm hopeful that's going to happen probably by the end of the season. So I have a chance to catch the game.
It's awesome.
But anyways, the road schedule is a bit lighter, like games against the Giants, the Cardinals, the Browns. I'm trying to remember who else they played. The Cowboys, because we always win in Dallas, so
Right.
there. So I'm optimistic that this team is gonna make the postseason again, but we have yet to see them make the good from great jump team.
Right.
You know? We didn't see this year. Like they went 0-6 against the Lions, the Eagles, and the Vikings, which is not good.
Yeah.
So they have yet to make the jump. But if I had to make a way too early prediction,
Please do.
I would go with. Listen, I would go with 10-7, which is a downgrade because they won 11 games. But based on the strength of schedule, I think they had the 5th toughest schedule.
Yeah.
It's realistic, but don't count on them winning 12 games.
Yeah.
I think it could happen. But I think 10-7 is an early start for me.
Yeah. For me, I would agree it's a tough schedule, Felipe, and I actually talked about who we played and stuff. It is a tough schedule. And possibly we make the playoffs. I'm saying possibly because it's undetermined. Speaking of which, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but the wide receivers yesterday were practicing with each other. Jaden Reed, Wicks, and Dobbs were all practicing with each other yesterday. However, I'm not sure who their quarterback was. I don't know if it's Jordan Love or Malik Willis or something like that. So it would be interesting to know, to see if they're getting early practice. But they've had early practice before, and that doesn't seem to help.
Yeah.
But I just caught that. I'm not sure if you guys saw that yesterday. So that's interesting to know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, hopefully they do. Hopefully they, I mean, they're going to have to. If this offense isn't going to get any better, they have to catch the ball.
Right.
It's just, common sense. But I don't know. I was really thinking from last year that the run game was really going to help set up the pass game. And I was kind of interested to see some stats of not much play action utilized. And I think I might have touched on this in some videos that I guess that sounds good to put out. But how are you both feeling as far as Matt LaFleur goes? And do you feel like his game management, game calling, and illusion of complexity is losing any flame? Or do you think that was just a microcosm of drops? Maybe this is a pass first type of team, right? We saw it at the end of not last year, but the year before, right into the playoffs. They got really hot there, really good, and rode that and almost beat the Niners. Someday we might actually do that. But what are your guys' thoughts on Matt LaFleur? Do you glass half full or glass half empty again? How are you feeling?
So, for starters, I don't think he's anywhere near the hot seat, nor he should. He should. That's crazy talk. But I think if the Packers don't, I'm not gonna say win at all, because that's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think if we don't see significant improvement this year, people are gonna start.
Then he could be on the hot seat.
Talking louder about him.
For sure.
Not saying they're right or wrong, just saying which is a thing I think is potentially happening if the Packers don't improve significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was, I think, 1-7 in challenges this year, or something like that.
Yeah.
That needs to improve.
Okay.
And I know it's a thing they used to do with Rodgers, they let the clock go to 1 and then snap the ball, and usually they took way too often the layoff game. But I think he has improved in that regard. One thing though, I will say, they need to stop calling horizontal plays on second and short, third and short, fourth and short. Just give the football to Josh Jacobs. Let's not make it tough on ourselves. But I like him. I think there are only 2 head coaches that could get more of this current Packers offense than LaFleur. Get more of the offense. Could be Andy Reid and Sean McVay probably. But I think we are set with a good head coach.
Yeah.
And we can definitely win with him. Or people forgot that he helped the Packers produce 2 13-win seasons among all the Rodgers front office drama. Oh, Rodgers won MVP. Guys, people underestimate how much things going backstage impact the season of any sports team. Not only football, basketball, soccer, hockey. That plays a big factor. And they still produced 2 13-win seasons in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not every coach that can do that.
Mhm.
So any talks about LaFleur being near the hot seat, I just laugh at when I see it on X.
Right. I'm glad that you brought this up, Rob, because this is a conversation I had many times last season with my mom's friends. I'm not going to say who they are, but I had this exact conversation. They think LaFleur should be on hot seat. I say no, because we know it's a different quarterback coach too. Tom Clements is officially retired. There's that.
Sean Mannion. Yep. Insert Sean
Right.
Mannion.
He's going to
Yep.
be the new quarterback coach. It's a different system. It's not a different system, but kind of is. Yes, challenges need to get better, but he should not be put on the hot seat just because we lost against the Eagles last season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I still think Matt LaFleur is a good head coach. I don't know if he's a great head coach.
Right.
I think he's very, very, very good. There's only a couple of those that are probably up there in the elite, right? I think Felipe, you named a couple of them, and he's up there too. So, like, who else would you be replacing him with? You know, like who else? I don't.
No,
Right.
and Rob just brought up a good point because we know Max is a good head coach, but pretty much like the team, he also needs to make that jump from good to great.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's on everyone. It's on everyone.
Yeah. And I guess that's like my point as well too, is like, okay, for the challenges, and I don't know what type of analytics or stuff that he's getting in his ear, wow, I'm not privy to any of that stuff. So it could be a whole bunch of different stuff, or maybe it's not.
Right.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Or maybe he's doing it based on gut feeling, or I don't know what it is.
Right.
But I'm not saying he needs to be Dan Campbell and go for it on all those type of situations or calls and be like super, super aggressive. But I felt like more than not, they were like, I always felt like we were like in the middle. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And you could all feel it too when you're watching it, on the TV, like, oh, you should probably go for this. And then they didn't. And, oh, they shouldn't go for this. And then they did, right? Like, when, like with the Lions, you're like, oh, they're always going to go for this. You always know what that is. That's the identity of their team. I felt like they were always, more than not, I felt like they were in limbo quite a bit with a lot of those types of different, situations. But
that's a good point.
All right. Bold take time. Free agency tomorrow. Put your foot down on it. Who do the Packers get tomorrow? Who do they get or not get tomorrow?
Bold takes. Okay, I'm thinking about who is slated to be free tomorrow. I'm trying to think about. Okay, bold take. And this is way bold because I think there's no way this is going to happen. Jair Alexander stays with the Packers.
Whoa!
I was not expecting that
It's
at all.
not going to happen. But if you want to get bold, let's get bold.
Yes.
He's gone. He's 100% gone. Like, make no mistake.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
it's a bold take. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Mary, you got anything?
I was gonna say the Packers will not take a kicker because we Brandon McManus is fine. I had to do that for you. I had to do that for you. You knew where I was kind of going for that.
We're out of kicker hell finally.
I know. That's funny because the Packers don't want to make us discuss it again, Rob.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jair is probably gone.
Bold take. I really, really, really want Myles Garrett. Like, so badly.
There you
go. You'd have to give up the moon and then some, plus a contract, for sure. And to Felipe's point, I don't know. The Browns are dug in pretty deep, right? Like, I don't know. That's just a different type of organization. They could hold themselves and just hold them out and not trade them for sure. Basically, ruin the guy's career, which. Whatever. But I say we get a Trey Hendrickson.
Okay.
For a late third round pick, plus a contract. 3 years, Jordan, if you're still here listening. In the crowd for 4 years. I want to say Myles Garrett for sure, and that's probably my number one, but I just don't think that they're going to I don't know. They seem like they're dug in pretty well, and you're going to have to give up a lot. A couple first rounds, maybe more, maybe a player on top of that, too, to get him. Myles Garrett on the Packers, oh my God. I would cry, die, and go to heaven. It would just be amazing. So.
Really quick, I brought this up to James yesterday. Malik Willis, do we extend him now, knowing his contract is up next year as backup quarterback? What do we do with that?
He's still on the rookie deal, so
Right.
I think the Packers are gonna probably let him play out his contract, and he's probably gonna hit the market, and they're probably gonna find a new backup. I think it's go further than that, honestly, because we have seen Geno Smith get traded for a third-round pick. So any discussions about the Packers getting a day 2 pick for Malik Willis is over. Those discussions are over. So they don't have much leverage either. So it's just the way I see it. They're probably going to let him play out his contract and move on. And then find the next backup for Love.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Felipe. And I don't think he's getting put in any package. I think he's too valuable. You showed it this year too, right? To come in and give us some good, competent backup quarterback play. But yeah, once he's done with his contract and that number goes up quite a bit, I think if they're gonna let him go.
Someone's going to sign him. I think there's no doubt that someone's going to sign him.
Yeah.
And by someone wanting to sign him, that will ultimately draw the Packers out, because they're not gonna want to spend like money on a backup.
No.
Like there's probably just get someone to draft. I know Gutekunst has talked about like developing the position and drafting the quarterbacks, which I also think he's gonna do it this year.
Yeah.
On day 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna follow this route, I bet.
I want Tyler Shaw or Shu or whatever, however you say him, from the Louisville quarterback. The Packer draft loves next backup. Jordan, you're still here. You. Bless your soul.
Yeah, that's my take as well, Jordan.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna do this. I think they're gonna draft Love's backup this year.
All right. Anything else you guys want to chat about today?
I'm like trying to think. What do we have coming up? Free agency. Wow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, guys, tomorrow is going to be wild.
I know.
It's going to be wild.
Thought about taking off work, but I haven't. Plus, it's going to be like 60-something degrees here.
Oh.
And there's also something I want to discuss with you guys, but we'll do that after we finish the episode.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's 72 here right now.
you guys will understand why I want to discuss this after.
No.
Okay. I'll say that. Packers trade Willis at next season deadline for a 5th rounder. Yeah, that seems like a total Packers move.
Yeah, I could take a 5th rounder.
But wait. Next season deadline?
Yeah.
But
I can see it.
Oh, okay. 2025.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about 2026. Okay, that makes sense.
I could definitely see that, knowing that we traded him for a 7th round pick. It would get better.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody coming on. As always, to Mary, check out Mary on her podcast, Mac and Cheese. You can also follow her on her own personal one at Mary, lots of numbers.
Don't.
Follow her on the Mac and Cheese podcast for sure. Felipe, tell everybody where they can find all your stuff, including your X and whatnot. X handle.
Yeah, so I'm writing for Cheesehead TV on Mondays, and then some coverage on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. People can find me on X or slash Twitter / whatever you want to call it. On my user tag is @Felipe, like ACETE. People used to mistake that last name because it's Italian. And sometimes I'm also sharing things on Instagram. So if you just type my name, like how is displayed on the screen, you'll find me. And yeah, that's mostly the two places where I'm operating right now.
Okay. Really
And then at Sounds Gouda with 3 A's is where you'll find us on X, and then at Sounds Gouda with 1 A on YouTube. Not to confuse you guys with all the A's and alphabetical stuff, but that's where you're finding Jordan and I show. Felipe's been on it. Mary's been on it. We recently had Eli Berkovitz too as well. Was a great guest, and we're looking to bring on some more people too as well. But every Wednesday and Saturday, we're diving deep into all things agency, off-season blueprint, grades, all that sort of jazz. So you'll find us on there too as well. So
Willie Rob, I know I already told you about this.
Yeah.
Mac and Cheese is officially going to the NFL draft in 2025. People already know this, but I was going to say this on your show first. But we're officially going. You know what? I'm going to spill some more tea because I got told I can. We officially made a Mac and Cheese Discord, and we will officially be starting it or making it public on Tuesday.
Whoop, whoop.
This is the one with all your gorilla stickers, Rob. That's where it all came from, is that. So everyone can bug us with gorilla stickers and possibly an alligator sticker coming soon.
Yes. Awesome. That is great news.
Note is Midwestern. I know I both invited you guys on Midwestern. However, Midwestern is now going to be Mac and Cheese. We're combining football and wrestling to Mac and Cheese now. That's the
nice.
Midwestern is going to be personal stuff officially but yeah.
Awesome.
I got told I can officially announce it.
Whoop, whoop.
And we'll probably be back this week, I'm assuming. Knowing free agency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Click end stream.
All right. See you guys.
Oh, wait.